Hello and welcome back to episode 6 of Ohio Richlands. We've skipped January and February as there wasn't really anything to do and a bit of snowfall. But now we're in the last day of March. There is a lot of contracts to do and they are all fertilizing. There is one weeding contract, but I think I'll focus on doing that later on today if we have time. At the moment we are on field 25. We have a contract on field 8 and 16. They are all fertilizing and it brings in quite a lot of money. Field 25 is 21,700, field 16 14,700 and field 8 38,100. So that's just what we need right now, as at the moment we're at minus $385. There is still a bit of a bank loan to pay off. I think it's 40,000. Thereabouts. So the aim is to get enough money to pay that off today, and we can have a quick check just now to see what's in the sale. Not really anything we could use. We could have another tractor. Another tractor may be handy, but we have the telehandler to move the trailer. I was planning on using the trailer to take fertilizer around with me to the fields, but it means unhooking the fertilizer on the trailer, hooking the trailer up, vice versa. Not really economical, but we'll see how far around this field we get. I think we did do this last time. I can't remember how much fertilizer we used, but we did have a little left over, although we were full last time. This time I only had 3,000 litres. So we'll see how we get on. And we'll see you in just a minute. Well, that's the contract on this field finished, so I'm just going to use up the rest of the fertilizer. Try to bring my work width down to save some fertilizer, as I want to try and complete as much as I can without having to come back again. 18 litres isn't going to get us far anyway. I'll maybe finish the strip on the right hand side here. Wouldn't normally leave any bits like that, I would do the whole field, but considering we've only got £385 in the minus, it means we cannot actually buy more fertilizer. That's worked out not too bad. Let's have a look and see how much is unfertilized on 25. Couple bits on the bottom side of the field on the left, and there's quite a large bit on the top side. But as we need the money, I think we'll complete that contract. Let's see for another higher value one. 13,000 we'll go with that one as well just now. So we've got 8, 16 and 26 to go and do. First we'll go down to the shop, we'll refill with fertilizer, and we'll see you up at the next field in just a minute. So we have just purchased fertilizer. We got 8,000 litres, which is 8 bags, for $14,560. Well, I think this is part of field 1 as well. Kind of awkward. I didn't notice it for start, I just noticed it now when I checked the contract. So I'm just going to throw some fertilizer down. Yep, it is completing the contract. So if I reduce my working width, it says it's finished, but I'm just going to finish the edge up and make it right. Do we have a smaller setting? No. That'll do. So I think it's a 15 meter work width right now. We'll fertilize his chickens or whatever's in there too. So that was the issue that was causing contract on field 1 not to work. You need to do that little one too. So back into our contract, that's it complete. Right, let's go and do some more. Well, this is our third fill up of fertilizer, so between this one and the last one we spent $29,120. That's 16 bags of fertilizer. Well, that's us just finishing up field 16. So field 13 we got 4,615, field 15 10,624, and this field 16, 14,711. So we're just having a look to see what other contracts are available. There's a couple up the top, I think. 1920. Another one over here. 31 and 34. So we've got 8, 18, 19 and 20. 20 is just down the bottom there. We've got 20, 21, that's 9. So they're all kind of up the top end of the map. Which ones to pick? Well, we're going to do them all, so I think if we do 31 and 34 first, we'll get them out of the way. Well, I thought, seeing as we're passing here, we would be as well fertilise our grass field before it gets up to its last stage, just so we get a little bit of extra yield, because we will be using this to hopefully make silage, and whatever's remaining we will put into grass bales, because we seem to have an abundance of them just now. But I'll get this field finished off and we'll get back to doing the contracts, so we'll see you in just a minute. Well, that's us completed all of our fertilising contracts for today. This is field 19, so we've got $8,748, and field 9, $11,242, and field 20, $11,755. So that's not bad, and it's only just after 4 o'clock. We have completed a lot of contracts today. I'm not going to name every one of them, but just a quick rundown. We have spent $43,950 in fertilizer, which is 24 bags, giving us 24,000 litres. And the total income from contracts was $170,950. That leaves us with $127,000 on the dot of profit today so far. So that is an absolutely fantastic start to the year. Even though we've made a really good amount, we've still got to repair this tractor because it is getting into the red and I don't want it cutting out or any issues while we're out on a job. So we're away down at the dealer just now to see about this new tool, which helps us service our own vehicles at our own shed or yard. So I'm away to speak to him about that, pick up a couple of filters, oil, air, etc. And we'll be fixing up this John Deere. So we'll see you soon. Well, as you can see, we only have $81,000 in the bank now. We have purchased this service area and we have paid off the rest of the $40,000 loan we had with the bank. So we are going to go and repair this tractor, and I think we'll just do all of the implements on it as well. So it is $149 to repair the fertilizer spreader. The lights on the front, $26, and the front weight, $83. Whoa, $19,225. Well, we have to do it, otherwise we're going to have a tractor that's going to be pretty useless when it gets down to zero. As you can see, we've got our diesel bund. It's in with some new lights as well. So that's very handy. I just need to get somebody in to fill it up for us. But for now, since that the fertilizing contract's all done, we're going to wash this and the implements on it and park them up in the shed. Well, that's April 1st now, and we have our grass field up to a decent size now to harvest. So I need to see about getting a mower hired again to cut it. But this time we have our own little silo for fermenting the grass into silage. It's only $6,000 and it's not the biggest, but as we don't have a need for a huge one right now, this will do us, and it was cheaper than going for a bale wrapper. As it isn't big, we can also compact it down with a tractor. We don't need a leveler, and we can also get a bucket for the telehandler to load it up into trailers as when needed, or a feed mixing machine because this is for cows. But just now we will check if these guys need any water. There is still a pallet of wool. It is very slow, but there isn't a lot of animals, so that's quite expected. I think they have taken. That wasn't very much. But yeah, we now have two products, or will have two products once the silage has been fermented for the cows. So we've got our silage and our hay. Now we also need to save any straw from contracts to mix it with the silage and the hay to make TMR, which is total mixed ration, to feed the cows. So I'll leave our weight down here. I'm going to head down to the dealer and pick up a mower and windrower. I might see about purchasing the mower because in time I'm hoping to get the bigger set of the two mowers, and that'll be able to windrow itself, so I will no longer need to hire a windrower. But I'll go down and check out what we can hire, so we'll see you in just a minute. So we've thought about this a lot. There are several options available, and we had considered in time, obviously this is, you know, a year or two in the future, we looked at this big Krone self-propelled mower, but it's only got a 10 meter cut width. It does work at 15 miles an hour, but it would just be 0.2 of a meter larger than the Kverneland 53100 MT, which can also windrow like the Krone, but it comes in at a much lower $75,000 option, which is $305,000 less than the Krone. It's $380,000. We'll also need the front mower to go with it, which we've got on now. It's only $21,000. So we've opted to go for the 3332 FT, which is the mower we've got on just now. It's a 3.2 meter. We have purchased that, and we have hired the Samaz Z2 840H windrower. As it's slightly bigger than the last one we hired, and we want to try and change up the equipment and see what bits work better for us, and, you know, use various things as we go through the game. So I'll crack on with this field just now, get this done and get it windrowed up. So now we've got to get the grass from the field to the new bunker. We've made it easy just now by hiring a forage wagon. We opted for the Strootman Zelon CFS 2501. It's got a 23,000 litre capacity and only cost us $2,448 to rent. That's including the silage additive tank. The additive is $2,990, which gives us 60 litres, so that should do us a good while. Although it's rather expensive, it does give an increase in the yield as it goes into the machine. I can't remember how it works, but it gives us extra yield, so I think that's a good investment for a long term. So I'll go down and grab that just now, and we'll see you back up at our field. As you can see, we've only put just over 4 litres into the forage wagon, because not unlike the fertilizer spreader, once you put that in, you cannot take it out. And as we're renting it, we're not keeping it, we're going to lose whatever's still in it. So, as it costs nearly $3,000 for just 60 litres, we don't want to waste this just now. So, that's the reason for that. Let's head up and start lifting this grass. Well, I've never used this silage bunker before, but to me it looks like it's not going to take very much. It's about 3 loads, which is about 65,000 litres in the bunker. I know this isn't right, but I'm just trying to get the maximum into this bunker, so there's less for us to make into bales. And it means I'm not giving the dealer back anything in it. Yeah, I think that will do just now. Well, we are ploughing under this field. We did get the rest of the grass lifted and made it into bales, and they are already in the shed being stored. So I noticed that today or tomorrow we can plant oats. So I intend to get that done pretty quick, get the oats into the ground so that they're ready to harvest at the earliest date. We can use the oats to sell, and we can take the straw, make it into bales, and we have everything we need for the TMR for our cows. So that's the next thing to look at. We also still need a header for harvest time. I think this year, because we're needing to get so much, we are going to probably rent a header, because we're wanting quite a large one to go in the combine because it's fit to take it. Because if we get some of those fields, like I think it was field 8, that big one, that takes most of the day to do, especially if it's just yourself. So we're possibly going to rent a header later in the year. But for now, I'll get this ploughed. I need to hire something to do lime, because the spreader we've got for fertilizer only does solid fertilizer and not lime. I also need to purchase some lime bags, get up, lime it, and then we need to go and find out about a seeder. So I'll go and crack on and do that, and we'll see you in just a bit. Well, we didn't expect a contract to pop up, So we just nipped and did it. We had to go down and refill it with another bag of fertilizer that was already at the store. So that's field 3 done, $15,558. So that's us down at the store. We have hired the ground-driven 6-ton fertilizer spreader. It's able to do both lime and fertilizer, the solid fertilizer. I've also bought 4 bags of lime, so it's 8,000 litres in total, as each bulk bag is 2,000 litres, and we spent $1,400 on that one, just $1,400, so it's quite cheap to buy. I don't know how much lime we will need, as I have never used lime in FS22. I know it sounds silly, it's been out for over a year, but here we are. So I'm either not going to have enough to do my field, or I've going to bought way too much. So we're going to find out in a minute if I've done it right, or if we need to go and get some more. Well, here we are up at our field. We have got GPS enabled, just so it minimises the waste and we're doing exactly what we need to do widthwise. But looking at how much we're using, I think I have overestimated this by quite a few thousand litres. It's not using a lot compared to FS19. It used to rocket through this stuff. I don't know if it's the spreader I'm using, or if it's just the new game system, but I don't think I'm going to get through 8,000 litres in this little section. Anyway, I'll crack on and get this done, and we'll see how much we've got left. But bear in mind, this is the same as the fertilizer spreader. It's not like the silage additive. If I have some left over, I can just empty it out and I can store it in our shed. So it's not going to get wasted, because we are going to need lime again, especially if we have another field. So we'll see what we're left with in just a minute. Well, that's us just finishing up, and we've got about 7,750 litres left. So I overestimated this quite a lot, but never mind. I'll get this taken out and stored in the shed. Now I'm going to get going and get this seeded. We are putting oats in, as we can do that today and tomorrow. As I'm putting it in on the first day as opposed to second, it should be ready on the first day of harvest and not the second as well. So we'll get a bit of a jump on the harvesting contracts when they come in. We can do our own field first. That way we're not wasting time with hiring headers. But I'll get this field done, and we'll see you in just a second. Well, seeing as the equipment is quite dirty, and they have been quite good at getting us last minute equipment, I'm going to give it a quick wash down and then send it back to them and get it off hired. I have emptied it with the seeds already. It's sitting up at the corner of the shed. We'll get that stored inside later today. But I'll get this washed down and ready to off hire, and there's just one more thing to do today, so we'll see you in just a minute and we'll get it done. Well, that's it. We just needed to fertilise our field. It does still need rolling, but I opted not to do it because the roller is quite large and it's quite a small field, so it didn't really make sense to me to do it. but as we have ploughed it and limed it, it should give us quite a good yield when it comes to harvest anyway. So we're not really losing out. Well, that's it for this episode. It has run on quite some time now, but we're finally through it. So we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.